cut them off, even family or friends. There comes a moment in every disciplined life when you must ask yourself a difficult question. Not everyone who smiles at you wants your growth. Not everyone who shares your blood respects your destiny. Stoicism teaches us that peace is not something you beg for, it is something you protect. When certain people constantly disturb your inner calm, drain your energy, or sabotage your progress, distance becomes an act of wisdom, not cruelty. The Stoic does not cut people off out of anger. The Stoic cuts people off out of clarity. You are not responsible for fixing broken behaviors, tolerating disrespect, or carrying emotional burdens that are not yours. Your responsibility is to your character, your values, and the life you are building. Anyone who repeatedly threatens those things has already chosen the place outside your inner circle. Family is often the hardest test. Society teaches us that blood is sacred, but Stoicism teaches us something deeper. Character is sacred. Respect is sacred. Peace of mind is sacred. If a family member constantly belittles you, manipulates you, or pulls you toward chaos, the Stoic response is not endless tolerance. The Stoic response is firm boundaries and emotional distance when necessary. Some people confuse endurance with wisdom. Endurance without purpose is just suffering. Stoicism does not ask you to suffer for the comfort of others. It asks you to endure only what strengthens your virtue. When a relationship repeatedly weakens your discipline, clouds your judgment, or feeds your worst impulses, letting go becomes a form of self-respect. Friends, too, reveal their nature over time. A true friend sharpens your character. A false friend dulls your focus. If someone celebrates your failures, mocks your discipline, or pressures you to abandon your values, they are not a companion on your path. They're a weight tied to your ankles while you try to rise. The Stoic understands that loneliness is lighter than bad company. Silence is safer than constant negativity. Solitude can be a training ground for strength, while toxic relationships are breeding grounds for weakness. When you walk alone with purpose, you move faster, think clearer, and grow stronger. Cutting people off does not require announcements or explanations. The Stoic does not argue with those who cannot understand discipline. You simply step back. You speak less. You engage less. You protect your time and energy like the valuable resources they are. Your actions will speak louder than any explanation ever could. Not everyone deserves access to your thoughts, your struggles, or your future plans. Stoicism teaches discretion. The more disciplined you become, the fewer people should have access to your inner world. Privacy is power. Silence is strength. Distance is sometimes the highest form of wisdom. Many people fear being seen as cold or heartless. But Stoicism reminds us that kindness without boundaries becomes self-betrayal. You can wish someone well while keeping them far from your life. You can love from a distance without sacrificing your peace. When you remove toxic people, something powerful happens. Your mind becomes quieter, your decisions become clearer, your goals begin to feel achievable again. This is not coincidence. This is what happens when distractions are removed and focus is restored. People who benefit from your weakness will always resist your growth. When you change, they accuse you of becoming distant, proud, or selfish. But the Stoic does not seek approval from those who fear discipline. Growth will always offend those who refuse to evolve. Stoicism teaches us to accept what we cannot control and control what we can. You cannot control how others behave. You can control who you allow into your life. Choosing peace is not abandonment. It is alignment. Letting go is not failure. Holding on to what harms you is. The Stoic releases what no longer serves virtue, just as a soldier drops excess weight to move faster in battle. Every unnecessary attachment slows you down. Some relationships expire quietly, others end painfully. Both are part of life. The Stoic does not cling to the past out of fear. He steps forward with courage, knowing that discipline often requires separation. Your future requires a version of you that is calmer, stronger, and more focused than your past. Not everyone from your past is meant to follow you into that future. Some people were lessons, not lifelong companions. When you choose yourself, guilt may arise. This is normal. Guilt is the echo of old conditioning. Let it pass. Peace is waiting on the other side of that discomfort. The Stoic life is not about pleasing others. It is about living in harmony with reason. Reason tells us that repeated disrespect is a signal. Chronic negativity is a warning. Emotional manipulation is a boundary violation. Ignoring these signs is not virtue. It is negligence. You do not owe unlimited access to anyone. Time is finite. Energy is finite. Life is finite. Spend these resources wisely. Invest them where they multiply strength, not where they drain it. As you grow quieter, stronger, and more disciplined, you will notice fewer people around you. This is not loss. This is refinement. Quality replaces quantity. Peace replaces chaos. Remember this. Cutting someone off is not about them. It is about you choosing the kind of life you refuse to sabotage anymore. It is about honoring your effort, your discipline, and your future self. If this message resonates with you, it means you are already waking up. You are already questioning what drains you and what strengthens you. Stay on this path. Subscribe to this channel for more Stoic wisdom, discipline, and mental strength. Stay silent. Stay focused. Stay unshaken. At some point in your life, you begin to feel it in your chest before you can explain it with words. A quiet heaviness. Every time certain people call you, visit you, or speak to you, your energy drops. You feel tense, defensive, drained. Stoicism teaches us to listen to that signal. That feeling is not weakness. It is awareness waking up. Most people don't cut others off because they want to. They do it because staying is slowly breaking them. You can love someone and still recognize that being close to them costs you your peace. And peace is not a luxury. It is the foundation of a strong mind. Family makes this painful. We are taught that family should be tolerated at all costs. But Stoicism never taught blind loyalty. It taught reason. If someone repeatedly disrespects you, undermines your confidence, or treats your boundaries like a joke, their title does not cancel the damage. Pain does not become harmless just because it comes from someone familiar. Some family members know exactly how to press your emotional buttons because they helped install them. They remind you of who you used to be instead of respecting who you are becoming. They question your growth because it threatens the version of you they could control. Distance, in this case, is not betrayal. It is survival. Friends can be just as dangerous, especially the ones who laugh with you but secretly resent your progress. The ones who mock your discipline, your silence, your focus. They say you have changed, but what they really mean is you no longer play the role they were comfortable with. A real friend wants to see you win even if it reminds them they need to do better. A false friend wants you close enough to feel superior. Stoicism teaches you to observe actions, not words. Pay attention to who supports your growth quietly and who resists it subtly. Cutting people off does not mean dramatic confrontations. It does not require explanations. Most people do not listen to understand. They listen to defend themselves. The Stoic does not waste energy convincing those who benefit from misunderstanding him. Instead, you withdraw calmly. You respond less. You share less. You stop volunteering your time and emotional labor. You let distance do the talking. This is not cruelty. This is clarity. Many people stay in harmful relationships because they are afraid of being alone. But Stoicism reminds us that solitude is not emptiness. Solitude is space. Space to think clearly. Space to rebuild your identity without constant interference. Space to hear your own thoughts again. Bad company makes you doubt yourself. Solitude makes you know yourself. There will be guilt. That guilt is not proof that you are wrong. It is proof that you were trained to put yourself last. Guilt fades when you begin to feel lighter, calmer, more focused. Peace is the quiet confirmation that you made the right choice. Some people will call you selfish. Others will say you think you are better than them. Let them. The Stoic does not argue with projections. When you stop accepting mistreatment, those who benefited from your silence will always complain. You are not cutting people off because you hate them. You are doing it because you are finally learning to respect yourself. And self-respect changes everything. It changes how you walk, how you speak, how you decide. When you remove constant negativity, you realize how much energy you were wasting just trying to cope. That energy returns to you. You sleep better. You think clearer. You become more disciplined without forcing it. Not everyone is meant to walk with you forever. Some people are chapters, not the whole story. Stoicism teaches acceptance, not attachment. Holding on to what harms you is not loyalty. It is fear dressed as virtue. Your future needs a calmer mind than your past ever allowed. It needs focus. It needs silence. It needs boundaries strong enough to protect your direction. Choosing peace will cost you some relationships, but keeping chaos will cost you yourself. If this message speaks to you, it means you are already changing. Stay on that path. Subscribe to this channel for more Stoic wisdom, mental strength, and disciplined thinking. Protect your peace. Guard your energy. Walk forward without regrets. When Stoicism talks about cutting people off, it is not encouraging hatred or revenge. It is teaching awareness. Your body and mind react before logic does. That heavy feeling you get around certain people is information. Stoics believed emotions are signals. If someone consistently leaves you anxious, angry, or exhausted, your mind is warning you that something is wrong. This matters because many people ignore these signals out of guilt. They stay in harmful relationships because they believe suffering proves loyalty. Stoicism rejects this idea. Pain that teaches nothing is not noble. It is unnecessary. Protecting your peace is not weakness. It is wisdom. Family is difficult because emotional history clouds judgment. Stoicism teaches reason over tradition. Blood relations do not automatically earn unlimited access to your life. If someone repeatedly disrespects you, manipulates you, or makes you feel small, the damage is real regardless of who they are. Respect is a requirement, not a bonus. Some family members resist your growth because it disrupts the roles they're used to. When you become disciplined, calm, or independent, they may feel exposed or left behind. Stoicism teaches that you are not responsible for the discomfort. You are responsible for your character. Friends reveal themselves through behavior, not words. Stoicism emphasizes observation. A true friend supports your growth even when it highlights their own lack of effort. A false friend subtly pulls you back into old habits, jokes about your discipline, or pressures you to stay the same. These actions matter more than any claim of loyalty. Cutting people off does not require confrontation because confrontation often feeds ego and drama. Stoicism values energy conservation. Explaining yourself to someone who refuses to understand only drains you further. Silence and distance are often the most effective and dignified responses. Withdrawing does not mean becoming cold, it means becoming selective. You choose where your time, attention, and emotions go. Stoicism teaches that these resources are limited. Wasting them on chaos weakens your ability to build a meaningful life. Many people fear solitude because they confuse it with loneliness. Stoicism makes a clear distinction. Solitude is chosen. Loneliness is forced. Solitude gives you space to think clearly, reset emotionally, and strengthen discipline. Bad company feels crowded but empty. Solitude feels quiet but full. Guilt appears because most people are conditioned to put others first even when it harms them. Stoicism teaches that guilt fades when reason is applied. If stepping away brings clarity, peace, and focus, then the decision was correct. Peace is evidence. When people accuse you of being selfish, Stoicism teaches detachment from opinion. People who benefited from your lack of boundaries will resist your boundaries. Their reaction is not proof of wrongdoing, it is proof of change. Self-respect is central to Stoicism. When you respect yourself, you stop tolerating patterns that erode your dignity. This changes how you think, speak, and act. Discipline becomes natural because your environment no longer works against you. Removing toxic relationships frees mental energy. That energy was previously used to defend yourself, explain yourself, or recover emotionally. Once freed, it fuels focus, growth, and emotional stability. This is why life often improves quickly after distance is created. Stoicism teaches impermanence. Not everyone is meant to stay forever. Some people are lessons. Holding on to them past their purpose is attachment, not loyalty. Letting go is acceptance. The future requires clarity, not noise. Focus, not chaos. Boundaries are not walls. They are filters. They allow the right people in and keep the wrong influences out. Choosing peace always has a cost, but choosing chaos costs more in the long run. Stoicism asks you to choose wisely. If these explanations resonate with you, it means you are thinking critically about your life and relationships. Subscribe to this channel for more deep Stoic explanations, mental discipline, and wisdom that strengthens the mind. Protect your peace. Live with reason. Move forward without regret.